All right, fam. Here we go. Got her done. I think I've thought of everything. So, a lot to get through. Let's just get into it. First, a little quick outside tour. Pretty cool. All this is going to be just pallet wood. I'm going to stain it a dark color on that one with the horizontal boards, and on the little accent wall here, vertical boards, a different color, obviously. Nice little lamp here. We'll get to that in a sec. Door, pretty self-explanatory. I opted for these tall windows because I can do them between studs instead of cutting out studs and weakening the structure. I think it looks pretty cool, so I'm just gonna stick with the tall windows. The kitchen is on this wall now, and I'll show you in a sec, but I was gonna put a long horizontal window, and I was like, man, that cuts out all of the studs, and my bedroom is up here. I don't want to have the whole structure collapse just because I wanted to put a window here. So you can see the studs right in there. Well, there they are. Yeah, so I didn't want to cut through all of these studs to put a horizontal window. And then I was like, you know what? I don't really want to do that anywhere. So I just opted for these vertical windows. I don't even really like windows, to be honest. I just think it looks nice, but in practice, all of these are going to be, blackout curtains behind them at pretty much all times. So, anywho, that's the exterior. Solar panels we'll get to in a second. And then we have up underneath the roof here, a bunch of can lights. And then, again, this door lamp right here. If I just click this little thing right here, I can... Boom. Nice. Okay. So you can see all the can lights all around, and then the door lamp right there. Pretty nice. But yeah, that's the exterior. Let's turn these lamps back off and get inside. Right, so first things first, let's pull the roof up, I suppose. Hopefully, I can't remember if I grouped those can lights in. I guess we'll find out. Up 20 feet. Oh, I didn't group in that either. Okay, well, we'll do it live. Group that up 20 feet. Yep, I did not group in my can lights, so let's just grab them. Nope, not all of that. Okay, let me just... Quick little thing here, quick detour, my bad. Grab all of those, and those, and those, and that. Well, switch that way a little more and grab all of that. There we go. Now all of that up 20 feet. Now everything's up there together, and we'll grab all of that and group. Cool. Now, interior, upstairs bedroom. I moved the staircase because it was really stupid in the other place. Let's get some walls out of the way. Let's take that, and move it all 20 feet that way. Okay, really? Is this not grouped? What's going on here? I swear I grouped all of this stuff together. Okay. Group. Where's my groups? Where are all my groups? Let's go out 20 feet that way. Fine. God, I swear I grouped all this stuff. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get all of this stuff. That. All of it out 20 feet. Jesus. have all of this done in like 2 seconds. Just freaking chill, guys. Just chill, all right? Click, 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 all of that. Should be everything out 20 feet. Okay, nice. I swear I grouped all that shit. Anyways, that looks like everything. So now we'll take all of that. Guess what? Just group the whole wall together. Boom. Now I can move the whole thing. All right, cool. Okay, well, there we go. So got our roof up and got our front wall out here. So we can see the floor plan. As a matter of fact, let's take this even, well, let's just go down 20 feet. Get out the way. Okay, so the stairwell, which was in the corner of these two walls, is now in the corner of these two walls. Couple of reasons for that. Primarily, when I had, and the iteration that we had before, there was like I had kind of a step up here into the bathroom, and then there was a cutaway thing, and it was like, it just looked kind of janky. And then I realized, well, what if I just move the staircase over here, and then this whole section of floor is cut away, because I'm going to need that out of the way to walk up the stairs anyways. And then now it makes it easy. I can just, this whole top floor, this part of the floor over here is no longer there. So when you step up into the bathroom, you don't have to worry about hitting your head. And I'm just realizing there is one more thing I forgot to do, but it's not a big thing. I'll show you guys when I get there. So anyways, we got the kitchen along this wall now. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory there. I didn't bother making any like cabinets or anything. There's not going to be anything under here really. A couple of dishes. I might end up putting some cabinets up here, but really I'm pretty minimal. I use, like, even now in my house, I have like a couple of plates, couple of bowls, couple of forks. I really just use one fork, one plate, one cup, like all the time. One plate, one cup. That's me. One man, one cup, one plate, one fork. So I pretty much just never use stuff. So pretty much there's really no need to have cabinets there. There will be cabinets here, but for modeling purposes, I didn't put them in there. It's just a big block counter. Anyways, the sink will be over here. Fridge right there. It's not the biggest fridge, 7.5 square feet or cubic feet. And it's enough for me. Yeah. Air conditioner, and I didn't put a heater in here, but the heater will go over here as well underneath the staircase, just out of the way. And the air conditioning has a little vent on the back. I'll just pop a little hole in the wall right there, and I'll just vent straight out the back there. So that'll be nice. Underneath this little thing here is going to be where the water pump lives. So all of our water tanks are down there. So it makes it easy just to send a pipe from right there into there to the water pump. And then from there, it'll go out, have the water heater mounted up in this little utility closet up here. But anyways, so the water will go out from the tanks into this pump up to the water heater. And then from there, it'll branch out and go to the washer, shower. I am going to put a little bathroom sink in here because I have room now, but it's not in there right now. And then over to the kitchen sink, of course. I like this color scheme. It looks pretty nice. I have the lower walls in this like lighter color, and then the upper and the darker, and then there's this thin black border kind of separating the two. The window trim is also in that same black. Looks pretty cool. I think it looks nice. This door right here is a sliding door. Pretty much all the interior doors are sliding doors, so you can slide that closed for the utility closet. I'm just gonna leave it open. Utility room, utility closet, whatever. And then the bedroom, pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna take, I have a bunch of desks right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 desks in my room. I'm just going to put them all in storage, and I'm just going to build a floating desk that's mounted to the walls here, just because I like it. It looks pretty cool, and I want a big like U-shaped desk like this. And then my monitors, of course, will be mounted on the walls there. PC on this side of the desk, and it'll be fixed to the wall so it doesn't go anywhere. I figured out how to make textures in AutoCAD. So you can see like my my actual wallpaper is on my monitors here. And this is my actual motherboard, W790WS ASRock Xeon big processor. Got my fans in here, a little reservoir. That looks, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it's, RTX 4090. And same TV I have, on Roku TV. It's cheapo from Walmart, but I mean, it's great. It's 55 inch for like 150 bucks or something. It's great. And I've had it for a couple years now, and it's no problems. So anyways, excuse me, sorry. Forgot to move my face away from the mic. Anyways, bed, pretty self-explanatory. So the bedroom is up there. Gives me plenty of space. Again, up here we have, I think it's like 5'2" or 5'3". So I'm not fully standing up here. I'm 6'2", so, but it is, my desk chair, my computer chair will be over here. And yeah, it's plenty of room. As I'm coming up the stairs, I'll kind of have to stoop a little, but I'm going to be laying down on the bed, or I'm going to be sitting down in my computer chair over here at all times, pretty much. So a little short, but it's all you can do. Pretty much all states have a strict height max of around 13 feet. So, and that's from the ground. So from the bottom of the tires to the top of the structure can't be, and of course the roof included, can't be any more than 13.5 feet. So we had to make it a little short up top. And downstairs, obviously I'll be standing whenever I'm, prepping food and cooking and stuff down here. So we wanted to make sure we got 6'3" down here, and I'm 6'2", so that gives me plenty of room to walk around downstairs, and then a little shorter upstairs where it doesn't really matter. And then the bathroom is plenty tall. There's like 8 feet in there, maybe more. I don't know, at least 8 feet tall in there. So yeah, we have a glass sliding door to get into the bathroom. You can see we have 2 rails here, one going across that way, one going across that way. So that is for, come on now, what are you doing? We have this sliding door, which can slide open that way, and then we'll just slide it open a little, maybe 12 inches. So yeah, it'll slide open that way so you can get up into the bathroom. Step straight into the shower here. I don't have the toilet in yet, but it's really not that big of a deal in terms of visualization purposes. This one will slide this way, and this will be the toilet. I'm going to sit like right here in front of this window. Again, there's going to be blackout curtains, or maybe I'll put it against this wall over here actually, and then put the bathroom sink over here against that. Yeah, I'll probably do that. But again, there's going to be curtains blocking the view, so nobody's going to watch me poop. And yeah, so washer and dryer back there. These are actually, this is a portable washer and dryer. If I can show you over here, go to my cart. So there's the fridge, 7.5 cubic feet. Generator, we'll get to in a bit. Heater, and then so this is the dryer, and this is the washer. And of course, these are the actual dimensions. So it's made to scale. Everything in here is made to scale. The refrigerator, the air conditioner, everything is exactly the size it is in real life. But I left, you can see there's a little extra room, partially because obviously the washing machine lid needs to flip open a little. But the washing machine is on wheels because, you know, it's a portable. So I can just roll it out if I need to flip the lid open all the way or whatever. And then put the clothes in there and just roll it back under and start it. But mostly I left this extra room in here because I do want to eventually get... well, I don't think I have it pulled up here. Front loading washing machine. Right, eventually I want to get something like something like that. One of these, GE, LG, so I get a pair of those eventually, and those all max out at around like 40 inches tall. I mean, some of them you have the little pedestal underneath and it makes it taller, but I won't do that. But as far as just the washer and the dryer itself, they're about 40 inches tall. So I left this space under here is about like, I think 46 inches tall. I don't remember exactly, but it's enough to get a full-size washer and dryer in there when I get to that point. But I have the portables for now, and they are still pretty big, almost full size, and it's just me. So we'll see how these go. If I eventually need to upgrade to a full size, then I'll have the option to because I have space. If not, then I'll just stick with these. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Shower, again, pretty self-explanatory. And like I said, toilet here, and there will be a little bathroom sink over here. So yeah, that's the living area, the kitchen, and the bathroom, and the upstairs bedroom. And then the last piece of this is the most important. So up the stairs here, another reason for putting the staircase on the right here is I noticed as I was like building out this bathroom and everything, I was like, wow, this, you know, there's a lot of unused space kind of like up here, you know, there's really tall ceilings over here. And like, I should really use up some of that space because it's just wasted space. And the ceiling was a bit shorter. I think it was like on level with this floor, or maybe it was actually even a little shorter. But I realized that if I actually just make the whole roof one level instead of having, I kind of like the split level look where it was like taller here and then a little shorter here. But the downside is it the way it breaks up the area of the roof. I ended up having like 3 solar panels on the top part over the bedroom, and then just one more over here on the side. So I could only fit 4. Not including, I mean, obviously there are layers here, but I'm just talking about per layer. Whereas if I just make it the whole roof just one level, then that gives me enough for 5. So I have 5 solar panels there, and again, I have 3 layers. So the top 2 layers, the bottom layer is going to be fixed to the roof, and then the top 2 layers will be on sliding rails. And then, for example, the top layer will slide backwards, and the middle, the second layer, will slide forwards or something like that. One of the layers will slide backwards, one will slide forwards. So that way they, you know, when I'm parked, they can extend fully. So I'll have 15. And these are actually, I upgraded these. These I was messing with the 405 watts. These are all now 520. And again, they're to scale. So this is the right size for them. So each of these is 520 with 15 of them. I think it's like 15 times 520. Yeah, 7,800. So pretty good bit of power right there. Once and I'm going to start with like 5 because I'm not made of money, right? But as I keep adding them, you know, over the next few months, 6 months or so, and same with the batteries, I'm not going to start with all 12 of these. I'm going to start with like 3 or 4 and then keep adding as I go. But once I get up to 12 of these batteries and 15 of these panels, there will be 0 need for a generator. It's going to be awesome. So anyways, but yeah, so as you're coming up the stairs here, got this nice little lovely window, tall window again. And off to the right, we have our sliding door here to get into the utility room. And up in the utility room is, let's take actually this wall out 20 feet. Yep. All right. And yeah, the TV can stay there. Yeah, that's fine. So up here we have, as you come into the utility closet room, whatever thing over here, on the wall, on this wall is the inverter. So all of the solar panels will get fed into this, and then this will feed into the batteries. And so the solar panels will charge the batteries that way. And then also the output of this will go to the breaker box here. And then the breaker box, of course, goes to all the wiring, to all the outlets and light switches and everything that gets powered. So solar panels go into this. This goes and charges the batteries, and it goes to the circuit breaker. And then the circuit breaker, all the wiring comes out of that and goes to all of my outlets to plug, my TV and my PC and my stove and washer and dryer. Everything gets plugged into those outlets. I don't have outlets in the walls here, but for example, in this back wall there will be 2 outlets here. I'm going to do a 120, and then again I'm going to go ahead and wire in a 240 volt outlet behind the washer and dryer here, just again in case if I do want to upgrade to a full size washer and dryer later, the dryers are going to be 240. But anyway, so I'll have 2 outlets back here. I'll have an outlet in the wall over here for the AC. This wall right here is going to have an outlet behind the TV. Top wall up here, where this TV hangs on this wall, there will be an outlet, and then obviously there's going to be a couple outlets in here for my PC, and then a couple outlets down here for the refrigerator and to plug in the stove. And so yeah, all of the outlets will be coming out of my circuit breaker right there, breaker panel, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, the inverter, all of the power will come from this into there, and that will feed all of my outlets. If that was too thorough of an explanation, I apologize. Right next to the breaker panel, to keep the wiring distance as short as possible between all of these things, because you need really hefty wiring for, to go from here to the batteries, and to go from here to the circuit panel, and to go from the circuit panel to the water heater, because the water heater is electric. You need really thick wiring, and that stuff is very expensive. So I wanted to put everything really close together so that way I don't have to buy too much of that wiring, because it is crazy expensive. But yeah, so that's the water heater. Again, where are we at? The water pump is going to live up underneath here, just because it needs to be like on level with the bottom of the water tanks. I mean, it could be a little higher because some of the water pressure will push into it anyways, but I wanted to keep it as low as possible, so it'll just live underneath there, or it might live in this little space in here, just depending on if I have enough room. But it's going to be, the water pump will be down here by the water tanks, so that way the gravity of the water will feed into the pumps, and the pump, of course, is electric, and it'll pump, the rest of the way through the house. But so it's going to come out of there straight up to here and go through the water heater, and right before it goes into the water heater, there'll be a split off point, so that'll be the cold, and then the other half of that will go into the water heater, and the output will be the hot. And then so the hot and cold water main lines will be right here, and from here again they'll branch off to go down here to the washer and to the shower and the bathroom sink, and then the kitchen sink. All of that's going to be, I'm not doing I did the plumbing in one of my last iterations, and it is a pain in the ass doing the plumbing. So you can imagine, it's plumbing, right? It's just going to come out of the pump and go through the walls to the places where it needs to go. It doesn't need to be modeled. It's such a tedious task trying to, that's why I'm not doing the wiring and I'm not doing the plumbing in AutoCAD, because I know it's going to go through the walls to the places where it needs to go. It's pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't need to be modeled. And it's so tedious to do. So anyways, that's pretty much the utility room. Oh, and then this little box right here, you can see there's a fan right there, and there's a fan right there. Well, actually, only one of them is a fan. The other is just a vent. So, you know, when this wall is in place over there, this box is sealed tight, airtight, between that wall, and this wall, right? And you will be able to remove this front panel, but it is going to be sealed tightly to it. So there will be I'm going to put a ton of high temp silicone in here, and insulation is going to be super insulated and super sealed off. So I know that's going to be the one area where people are going to be like, what are you doing? But, you know, it is what it is. I'm an adult. I'll figure it out. So behind there, of course, is the generator. Oh, there we go. And so we have the generator is going to have its own dedicated exhaust fan. One of these is just a vent to draw in fresh air, and the other is a exhaust fan so the exhaust fan will just pull in fresh air continuously and then exhaust all of the CO2 straight out the side there. So yes, the generator is going inside. I am not mounting it on the outside because I don't want it to be too loud, and I don't want it to get stolen or messed with. And if I ever need to fill it with gas and it's raining, I don't want to go outside in the rain and get soaked while I'm trying to fill my generator up with gas. It's just a big hassle having it outside, and I want it inside. So it's going inside. It is what it is. Deal with it. I'm not going to get carbon monoxide poisoning or whatever, CO2 poisoning. It will be completely, and you know what? Just to remind you guys, RV generator. Check this out. Images. If you look at an RV generator like this, it's in this tight little enclosed space anyways, right? Like this. They have these big generators in this little box here, so it's going to be fine as long as you have it ventilated. It's not going to get too hot. It's going to be fine. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. It's going to be in a little box. It's going to be ventilated, and it's going inside. It's going to be super insulated for sound and heat, and it will stay cool, and it will be quiet. So that is what it is. But feel free to let me know in the comments how much you hate that idea, because I'm sure there will be some people who do. Anywho, so that is pretty much it. And then the last thing is the battery bank up here. Again, I'm going to start with like 4. I already have 1. These are 200 amp hour batteries. Let's come up here, 24 inches, just so we can see. I really went crazy with the, this is the actual inverter. Once I figured out how to do this is my actual hot water heater, GE breaker panel. You just take an image and you import it into AutoCAD, and then you can put it onto the surfaces of different objects. So yeah, I went a little crazy. That's my actual generator. Power Smart. Yep. I went and made them all look very realistic. So this is exactly what it will look like. Anywho, but the point of this was to show that these are 200 amp hour batteries. And if we do, I don't know how, I think I went up 24 inches, right? I'm just going to Control Z until they go back down. Go back down, batteries. Right. Goodness, how many? There we go. Save. Calculator. 200 amp hours times 12 batteries times 12 volts is almost 30 kilowatts. So yeah, like I said, once I get the 15 panels up here and the 12 batteries right there, there will be no need for a generator anyways, so this will never even be running. And by my calculations, I just picked up a second job. I don't make a whole lot of money, but I am going to be working 2 full-time jobs through the end of the year, which means, based on my calculations, I should be able to afford all 12 of these batteries and all 15 of these panels within the next 4 months or so. So within about 4 months, I will never use this generator ever again, and it'll just all be solar. It'll be so nice. And even with efficiency losses, even with overcast weather in the winter and stuff like that, 15 of these 520 watt panels will provide plenty of power. Plenty of power. So it will be a rare, rainy, snowy day in hell when I actually have to use the generator. But it'll be there just in case. You never know. But I don't want to pay for fuel. That's another reason I was going to do the water heater on propane. But, I don't want to pay for propane. I don't want to pay for anything. I want the sun to power my whole life. I'm not an Elon stan. Actually, I really don't like Elon that much. But there is that quote of him that he always says, we have this big fusion reactor in the sky. Why don't we just use it? That's my feelings exactly. So I don't want to pay for power. I don't want to pay for propane. I don't want to pay for gas to run the generator. I just want all of my utilities, all of my devices, my TV, washer, dryer, my water heater, my refrigerator, my stove. I want it all to just run for free. No paying for any of it. And of course, obviously, the tiny home itself gets me out of paying rent. So then all of my money, think about that, guys, all of my money, nearly all, goes straight to my savings. I'm not paying the landlord. I'm not paying the power company. I'm not paying the water company. That's another thing I forgot to mention I didn't do yet, but there will be. Since I live in the rainiest state, screw you, Washington, we overtook you as the rainiest state. Florida is the rainiest state in the nation now. There will be a gutter. The slope is going to be slightly pitched, just a little slope, not too much. But just enough so that way I can have a gutter running along the back side of the roof there, and then that will go down to a PVC pipe, which will feed into my water tanks down here. So, of course, I'll have just a little port where I can plug up a water hose, or I can pour in water, or whatever means I want to add water myself. But also there will be a rain collection system as well. And again, I'm not putting it in the model because I already know I'm going to do this, but all of the water that comes out of my kitchen sink, the water that comes out of my bathroom sink, and the water that comes out of my shower, and the water that goes into my wash, every drop of water will go through a whole home reverse osmosis system. So the water that I shower with, whether it's rainwater or tap water or whatever, will be cleaner than most people's drinking water. The water that I wash my hands with will be cleaner than most people's drinking water. So that's another thing. I'm sure there's going to be some people, oh, you're going to drink rainwater. Oh, you're going to drink away. Yes, but I'm going to put it through filtration first, obviously. And even then, rainwater, is it really that bad compared to your, think about it. If you're drinking tap water and you're like, oh, you're drinking rainwater, I don't want to hear you complain. If you're drinking tap water, just shut up. Is it really that bad compared to tap water? And a lot of people drink tap water. You got, recycled sewer water coming from the tap with, chlorine and fluoride and all these chemicals. And then you want to complain, oh, why are you drinking rainwater? Anyways, enough about that. There will be a rain collection. I will probably still have to pay for some water, but I want to try to get most of my water from the sky and all of my power from the sky. Power all of my appliances from the fusion reactor in the sky, and get all of my drinking, showering, cooking, cleaning water from the sky as well. So the sky provides a lot. Thank you, Sky Daddy. I like the sky, and I want to try to take advantage of what it provides. What are you barking at? He's on high alert. I think one of my roommates just came in. Anyways, that pretty much concludes the tour, I think. You can see as I'm like spinning around this thing like this. Basically, this is how you do 3D modeling. You just spin around and just look at things continuously for hours and 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 hours. And as you're doing this, you'll see like, oh, wait, there's one little thing right here. I got to change real quick. And you zoom in, and then you zoom back out, and you spin around, and you spin around, and you spin around. And then you see another little thing. Oh, let me just fix this little thing right here real quick. Anyways, so that's how this came together. Yesterday I was off, so I was able to get pretty much all of this done yesterday. And especially once I figured out how to make the textures, like to apply the TV and my, GPU and my motherboard and my wallpapers and my refrigerator, apply these textures to everything. It's pretty easy. For example, this little Toshiba air conditioner I have over here, 8,000 BTU air conditioner. I just made a block, and then I slapped the image onto it, and then I just, curved the corners a little bit, and that's pretty much the shape of the air conditioner. Same thing for all of this stuff. You just make a little box, like these guys up here. You make a box, you slap the little material layer, texture, whatever you want to call it, on there, and then you round the corners and make it look like the thing that it is. So it's pretty nice. And again, everything is to scale, so I know exactly, if I build the structure these dimensions, that was another thing I was going to do for the video. I was going to put the dimensions in here. I did not do that, so maybe we can just measure distance, and if we measure, let's say, from our farthest point over there all the way to our farthest point, right? Well, technically this wall is missing. Both of these walls are missing. Whatever, you get the idea. It's boom, 8, 1.5, and then of course the walls add a few more inches. The max width is 8.5, so I will be just a couple inches under that. The total width I think is like 8.4, 8.5, so I'm an inch or two underneath max width. And same thing for the height. From the top of the roof down to the ground is like 13.4, 13.5, and the max is 13.6, so yep. So I know that if I build the structure to these exact dimensions, this fridge will fit in there just like that. The TV is made to size. The monitors are made to size. The PC, everything is exactly the size it is in real life. So I know I'll have exactly enough room for all of this stuff. It's a pretty efficient use of space. And yeah, I think it utilizes all of the available space as good as you possibly can, and without making the overall structure too long, or there's not really, there is a length requirement, but I think it's like 40 or 50 feet. I'm definitely not gonna hit that. But regardless of the length requirement, I didn't want it to be too long because I am going to be towing this thing around everywhere I go. So I wanted it to be pretty manageable. This with this length here, the top part this like cantilever part will be hanging over my truck. The back of my truck will come to obviously right there where the tow hitch is. And there's enough room to flip up my truck lift gate back here, so I can still access, the back of my truck. And then this part will hang over. I say truck, I have an SUV, it's a Tahoe. But, truck is 1 syllable and SUV is 3 syllables. So anyways, this will hang over the back a little bit. And then, the overall distance from the back of the house to the front of my truck will still fit into 2 parking spots. So if I go to Walmart or wherever, I can just pull straight through 1 parking spot. Usually they have the parking spots back to back, so I'll just pull through, and my truck will be in 1 spot, and my camper home trailer thing, tiny home, will be in the spot behind me. So yeah, I can take this anywhere I want. It's not cumbersome. It's easily manageable. And again, the obvious benefits of no rent, no bills, barely paying for a little bit of water here and there if the sky doesn't provide enough, and all of my money going into my pockets. And I didn't mention this because right now I'm working a lot, so it doesn't really apply, but whenever I have time off, I can go anywhere I want. I'm completely nomadic. I can go travel around the United States. I could go to Mexico. I can go to Canada. Not that I really want to. I don't want to go to either of those places. But if I wanted to, I could, and I wouldn't have to, worry about what I'm packing or taking with me, or I just take everything with me. So pretty nice. Primarily for me, though, in terms of being nomadic, is going to be for work, because I am looking at jobs in Tampa and like South Tampa, close to Sarasota. So, I can just start applying. Once this is built, I can just start applying for jobs really anywhere in the country. Or again, in, this hemisphere, if I wanted to apply for jobs in Mexico, I would do that. But, if I wanted to, I could just apply some job in Tijuana. And then once I get the offer, I'm like, all right, cool. On the way, 10-4, good buddy. Breaker 19, headed your way, partner. And yeah, just pick up and go. So it's pretty fly. Mostly, I'm obviously most excited to not pay rent anymore. So that will be the biggest plus. No rent, no utilities. I'm pretty stoked about that. So yeah, if any of you guys would like one of these, I haven't totaled up the, obviously there are levels here, right? You got all these panels, you got all these batteries. You can get by with like 4 of these batteries and 5 of these panels. You don't need 15 of those and 12 of these. And there's also a smaller, this is a 12 kilowatt inverter. You could go with like a 6, although the price, this is like $2,700. The 6 is like $1,700, so it's like $1,000 difference. Not really gonna break the bank. But these batteries are like $360 a pop, so you don't need to get all of these. And the structure itself is lumber, and all of the wood, the exterior siding, and the interior paneling, the flooring, all of this is going to be pallet wood. So I have like essentially an endless supply of pallets near me, which is nice. And they're all in like really, or not all, but nearly all of them are in really good condition. So yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to get enough flooring and siding and paneling, wall paneling, to make out of pallet. This door, I'm going to make this door out of pallets. My front door, I probably will just buy, but the interior doors, I can make those. These glass panes, I already picked these up off Facebook for free. There was just, somebody who had these big glass, he like upgraded his shower and was getting rid of these big glass shower panes. And I was like, yeah, I'll take them. So I have those. The windows, I'm probably just going to do in like plexiglass or something, So again, I don't even really like windows, but if you want them, there are levels. You could pay for really expensive windows if you want them. If you want really nice big windows, whatever. Again, the TV is like $150, and I already have one of these. I'm going to put another one on the living room wall downstairs. So I have one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and all this tile on this wall and the tile. Goodness, if I can manage here. All this tile, I already have this. I got this off of Facebook for free, so there's that. Nice. Washer and dryer, I think the dryer's like $280 and the washer's like $250, so like under $500 for those. But again, you could get a full size LG, like $1,500 pair, whatever. There are levels, right? You can make this as not as cheap, or you can make it pretty cheap, or you can make it as expensive as you want it to be. if you want to go all out on like really awesome stainless appliances and crazy high-end washer dryer, that kind of stuff, all these batteries, all these panels, my main focus is sinking as much money as possible into these batteries and these panels and this inverter, because that's going to determine how much that I have to spend in fuel to run the generator, which I don't want to do again. I don't want to pay for utilities at all, and I don't want the hassle of having to constantly fill this generator. So, yeah, my focus is to prioritize that and get these paid for as quickly as possible. And then, you know, the rest of the stuff, I just want to make it look nice and feel homey and comfortable and kind of roomy and, you know, as cozy as possible without going too crazy and breaking the bank. So that's my goal. But if you wanted, you could go, you know, do all kinds of stuff with this in terms of, you could even make the length longer and stuff like that. So anybody who wants one of these, of course, I got to build mine first, and you guys will see. Probably starting next week, I get paid from one of my jobs on Wednesday. And I got to pick up some lumber. I got to go make another run for some more pallets. And then, yeah, I'll be ready to go ahead and start building the structure. I have pretty much all the steel I'm gonna need. I have the axles, obviously, because I'm converting a trailer that I already own. So, yeah, I already have a good chunk of the materials. In terms of building materials, I just got to pick up a little bit more, a few more pallets, and I got to pick up some lumber, 2x2s and 2x4s, and then, yeah, so probably, hopefully next weekend I'll get started on the build. It also depends on how tired I am working 2 jobs. This is my first week starting my second job, so we'll see how it goes by the end of the week. And yeah, but either way, I'll be starting the actual build soon. I've designed and modeled all that I can in here. There's really no other considerations to put in here. I know pretty much exactly how much lumber I need, how many pallets I need, you know, all of that stuff that I wanted to make sure, you know, with the dimensions that I know for sure everything will fit, and I'll have enough room to walk around, and I'll have enough room for the bed and my PC and the shower, washer, dryer. I wanted to make sure I had enough room for everything, and I wanted to, you know, like I can just click on this wall right here and, you know, look at it and be like, I need this many, you know, 2x2s or 2x4s or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that was really the main reasons for modeling this stuff up, was that way, you know, I know everything's going to be the right sizes, and I know exactly how much lumber I need for all of this stuff. So yeah, there are no other things that I need to model. Everything is accounted for. You know, like 90% of everything. Again, there's like outlets, light switches, that kind of stuff, but these little ancillary things I'll get as I go. And the bulk of it is going to be obviously the lumber and pallets. So wanted to make sure I had all that squared away. And now that I do, I will be able to start the build. Like I said, maybe next weekend. It depends on how tired I am. Might take me a week or two of adjusting to this new schedule. And but either way, within the next week or two, that I will. I'm very excited to get going, so I'll have to be like dead tired to not start the build, or something will have to just go horribly wrong in my life for me to put this off for too long. I want to get this started as quickly as possible, so if I have an ounce of energy in my body, I will use that ounce to at least hammer one nail this weekend or something. I have a nail gun, so I'm not actually going to be hammering, but I will do something because I want to get this done as quickly as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to stop rambling. I have no idea how long this video is at this point. I don't even see where it says in OBS. Does it say? Oh, 49. That's not too bad. 49 minutes. Put me on ×2 if you don't want to hear me ramble. And I will catch you guys next time. You will see build videos where, all of this stuff, but in real life, coming very soon within the next week or two, I will be starting on the floor frame and building up all of the wall framing. So that's what I'm going to obviously do first, and so you'll see videos for that coming in the next week or two. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here because 49 minutes, a little bit long, and again, put me on 2 times. I'll put it in the description. I always say that it put me on 2 times speed, but it's by now it's like the end of the video, and it's like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that at the beginning. So yeah, I'll put that in the description so that way you guys don't have to hear me ramble for too long. And yeah, completely unedited. Wow. I don't have time to edit right now, guys. I have, this crap took me all weekend. So got to get to work tomorrow. It's freaking 12 a.m. right now. I got to be at work at 8 in the morning, and starting Tuesday, it'll be actually 6:30. First day I'm coming in a little late, but yeah, so I don't have time to edit right now, so excuse me, guys. My sniffling or my coughing or my little pup walking around with his clicky-clack toenails and my rambling, I can't cut it out. I'm sorry. I wish I had time to do some editing. If any of you is good at editing and you want me to just send you footage and you can cut it up for me really quickly, that's great. I can't pay you, but if anybody wants to do that, give me a shout. That would be great. I could absolutely use an editor right now. Usually I do it myself, but again, I'm working 2 jobs and I don't have time. Anywho, hopefully my mic, sometimes I record a whole bunch and my mic is like off. So hopefully I don't have to re-record this in like 5 minutes because I need to go to sleep. Anywho, I'll see you guys soon. Build videos, IRL, real life. All of this stuff will be coming to reality very soon. Stay tuned next couple of weeks, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace out.